Hello, it's Steve with CarSmart in Niagara Falls, and we've got a nice Lexus for you today. This is a 2011 Lexus RX350 with the touring package. Real nice shape. It currently has 211,490 kilometers, and as you can see, it's finished in a nice pearl white, actually called Starfire White Pearl. You can really see that shine in the sunlight. These pearlescent paints, they use mica as the mineral, like the metallic mineral, so it's one of those colors that sort of changes and really dances under the bright sunlight. So very, very popular, very strong color for this car. You can see just the outline of what they call a PPF, or paint protection film, that sort of wraps around the front fenders, front hood, and of course the other side as well. And of course with the touring package, lots of little extras. You'll see the actual high intensity discharge, what they call xenon headlights, okay, with fog lights down below. And these are what they call an AFS, or active front lighting system. So the lights actually will kind of swivel a little bit and sort of illuminate into corners, and it gives it very good lighting. Of course, you have headlamp washers as well, tucked in behind those little covers. Tires themselves are again, these are 19-inch wheels with the touring package, and these are nice Michelin Latitude Tourings, again some all-season steel belted radio, and it has 4 snow tires to go with it as well, which you'll see in a moment as I walk around the vehicle. Under the front wipers, there's what they call front wiper park de-icing. So it's like a strong defrosting elements in the base of the glass that, when activated, de-ice those wipers. So you know, you get a snowstorm overnight or freezing rain or anything like that, wipers aren't sticking to the glass, and battle to free them up. Again, nice clean condition overall. Carfax showed 2 minor incidences, but with no claims. And this often happens where you might get a little scrape on the, actually a scrape on each front fender on the sides, it said. So these have likely been repainted. But there's no sign of overspray, which tells me it went to a Lexus body shop, and they obviously put through, you know, again, whether it was on somebody else's insurance or whatever, but again, it's certainly a good repair. Its color match is spot on, which is not easy with these pearlescent paints. We do have power mirrors as well, with integrated LED signals, deep tinted privacy glass. If we open up the doors, you'll see down at the base we have nice sort of protective coating over the lower portion of the doors that sort of wraps down into the rocker panels down underneath here, and this seals up nicely for not only wind and moisture entry, but really protects from sort of stone damage, salt, sand and whatnot. And we've got nice big hefty splash guards at all 4 corners. As mentioned earlier, we have 4 snow tires. As you can see, they're not mounted on wheels, but those are still lots of life left in, good quality Yokohama tires. We have a rear spoiler that's sort of integrated into the back with a 3rd LED brake lamp. We have a little shark fin antenna up top. That's for the satellite radio, as well as GPS navigation. We've got the roof rack rails, power moonroof up top that both tilts as it is now for venting, or sort of drops down and slides fully into the back. LED tail lights. Backup camera is sort of tucked in right over there, as you'll see. And then down below, see the exhaust poking out there. One thing Lexus has done is they use a stainless steel exhaust systems front to back, so very, very long life. Good, you know, I mean, seldom do you need, they won't last forever, but again, certainly much longer than conventional. We have a locked fuel door, keyless remote entry. Now this uses what they call a Lexus Smart Key, where if, you know, with the Smart Key in your pocket or purse, you can just sort of touch the door handle and they automatically unlock. We open it up. Again, you'll see, again, clean, clean, clean. No signs of rust anywhere. This has certainly been well maintained. We often see that with luxury cars like this. People, you know, that buy these are not hurting, so to speak. They tend to do lower mileage. They might have multiple vehicles within the family, and you know, garage parked, etc., etc. And this has had 2 owners since new when you look at the Carfax history, you know, outside of dealers. But inside, again, you'll see, again, nice, it's called a brown walnut wood grain trim, so it's very subtly done. Over here you'll see it through the center console on the doors themselves. We have a 12-speaker premium audio system. You'll see like little dome tweeters, mid-range speakers, full triax, the word I'm looking for, coaxial speakers, excuse me, in the back. And then there's also a rear subwoofer in the very rear. So a nice little audio package, full power group, power windows, door locks and mirrors with a safety lockout switch that sort of deactivates the other 3 power windows. So if kids are sitting in those positions, they can't play with the mirrors. Above that, you'll notice these little set buttons for 3 positionings, and this is for driver's memory. So both the mirrors, the 12-way power adjustable seat, and power tilting, power telescoping steering wheel is all set for 3 different drivers. The seat itself, as you can see, you've got a 6-way control here with this lower switch, so you can lift the front of the seat up and down, rear of the seat up and down, move the whole seat with moving the switch. Of course, fore and aft, power reclining, and then a power lumbar support. And then we have premium Napa leather with the touring package, so very, very soft, supple leather. You're going to get these little sort of age marks, but that adds the character of the leather. But very clean, there's no tears or rips in it, and it has the perforations with heating and cooling. So there's a 3-stage heating, 3-stage cooling, and in the cooling mode there's actually a blower unit that actually is blowing cold air-conditioned air up through those little vents in the seat, so it keeps your backside nice and chilled and not sweaty on a hot day in the summer. Of course, you see how the pockets and the doors flip out for easy access, and then there's like a sleeve there for a tall sort of drinks, bottle holders, water bottles, that sort of thing. Now, moving along, we'll see, of course, your foot brake there, all-weather Lexus floor mats, and these have the little hooks on them so they don't creep up and just jam under the pedals. Your hood release is here. You've got the headlamp washers, power tailgate, power fuel door release. Pop that open there, and we'll look at that in a minute. We've got the dimmer switch, odometer reset for the trip odometer, and I think I previously mentioned this is your power tilt, power telescoping wheel. So those memory seats, again, memorize your seating position, steering wheel position, and side mirror positions for 3 different drivers. So I love Lexus instrumentation. They use one of the first to use what they call electroluminescent backlighting, and it gives a very crisp, clear display there, and it doesn't get easily washed out, even in direct sunlight that might be coming through at an awkward angle. So again, and it's nice and simple. It's not overly digitized or bells and whistles and graphs and everything. It's nice and clean with sort of tachometer, speedometer, temperature, fuel gauges. Of course, your odometer down below. That's just P, just indicating our park position of our transmission. Seatbelt warning. My hood is open, so that's just illuminated, but outside ambient temperature. Then we got light, your low beam indicator, fog lights are on now, and yeah, pretty much summarizes that. You've got your push button stop start, so foot goes on the brake and you just push that stop start button to activate. Got the leather wrapped steering wheel. You do have an automatic mode for the headlights. Of course, I've had them manually set now for daytime presentation, and that's just sort of flips on the front fog lights. Wiper washers. Now there is what they call an auto position. You'll see the auto down below here, and that's for what they call lane sensing wipers. And up to the right of your sort of mirror in the middle there's a sensor that's facing outside. It's a UV sensor, and that reads precipitation hitting it and will speed up and slow down when you're in the auto mode of your wiper settings. And then you can still fine-tune it with the intermittent delay cycling here. And then of course we do have rear wiper and washer on the back, and that has a fixed intermittent setting. On the face of the steering wheel, number 1, we have airbag. Both here and the frontal airbag on the passenger side are what they call a dual stage or intelligent airbag, and they will deploy at different levels based on the amount of impact energy, so a lower or higher threshold, and all designed to give you the appropriate amount of airbag cushioning and support without giving you too much. obviously volume controls, modes. It's going to run through the selection of AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio, CD, and this does have Bluetooth audio streaming, so you can stream direct from your smartphone. In fact, I have my own phone hooked up to it now. I'll show you in a second. And then you can change your selections, your radio stations, and everything with that button there. On the opposite side, we have our Bluetooth phone controls for answering and receiving calls. This has a memory upload, so once you've paired your cell phone, you can choose to save your contact list into the vehicle, so that way if you receive an incoming call and you see, oh, it's Steve is calling, it's going to show right up on that little dash there who's trying to reach you. And then you have voice operations. So voice operations for not only doing what we call voice activated dialing, where you can just name the individual, however it reads in your contact list, it will automatically adjust that or recognize that and place that call for you. Down below, this little page button here just allows you to go through some of the various options. You'll see things like the electronically controlled transmission, what they call the snow mode. Of course, there's a little warning there for things like hood open, low washer fluid, low fuel, all that kind of stuff is going to come up there as well. And then we'll keep cycling back to that. Cruising range, so it has a built-in trip odometer, eco mode, current, sort of real-time fuel economy, her average fuel economy, both over a long term as well as since our last refuel. And then there's also an ambient temperature gauge there that sort of tells you that outside temp, so you know what you're dealing with when you open the door. Cruise control is tucked in here in typical Lexus Toyota fashion, really easy to get used to there. And that pretty much sums up all that. We do have little spots here where there's temperature sensors up top, down here, down in the footwells. This is all part of that automatic climate control. We've got a nice big, about 9-inch full color screen there. You can see the GPS navigation showing there now. If we go into the menu, you'll see your main menu controls. And then we've got the ability through what they call a remote touch sensor. This almost acts like a mouse on a computer. And there's an enter button on the side, a display button here, so you can go through and, for example, adjust your display brightness and contrast, etc. The enter button allows you to go through and fine-tune. So if I wanted to go into my climate control, I can just hit the where are we at here? There we go. Sorry. And then this will give you the fine-tuning for your automatic climate control. Now you notice we can set separate temperatures here for driver and passenger, so again everybody can have their own zone. That little one down below here, this is where you would activate the front wiper de-icing that for the base of the windshield wipers. So it's a full automatic climate control air conditioning using a CFC-free air conditioning or refrigerant, so it's all environmentally friendly. They were certainly a leader in moving to those. Naturally, we do have a full backup camera system here as well. Let me just go a little bit brighter here. There we go. And again, it's a full color backup camera system, as you can see. And of course, once you go back into your drive or park mode, it's going to go back to your previous setting. Down here we have, well, first we have, you'll see individual sort of little thumb wheel controls there that you can control vent flow across all 4 of your front vents. We have side window demisters, a little wee demister on that little wee corner window. You can see up top there's a center channel speaker for that premium audio, surround sound audio system. We've got a 6 CD changer, so if you have a nice collection of CDs, not for naught, because all the newer cars now don't come with them, but you can load up 6 CDs and have a long supply of music for long drives. It has both an auxiliary and a USB input. Right now I have my phone hooked up, and you can see Bluetooth audio playing there now. I won't keep that playing, but it's a little Bonnie Raitt playing for you there. So again, this is just streaming from your phone, so whether you use like Apple Music or Spotify, Amazon Music, all the different streaming services you can access direct from Bluetooth streaming, just like you have Bluetooth hands-free phone system. So lots of audio options, and it does have both a USB and a auxiliary audio input jacks and ports down below in the console as well. Now your main, I should say the fine tuning for the climate control is through the menu, but your main controls, for modes, for example, if I want to change the mode, from different airflow patterns, or change the speed of the fan, I can still do all those controls. So many of these have two ways that you can control. As an example, you can see separate temperature control, one here for driver, second over here for passenger. And then we have the transmission selector. So park, reverse, neutral, drive, pretty straightforward. This is a 6-speed overdrive automatic transmission. It's a regular gear transmission, not a continually variable or CVT transmission. The hybrids came with the CVT, but I'm a big fan of the regular transmissions. I just think they give you more feel, than these CVT transmissions. We have a regular drive mode. We have a sport mode. This is where you can do what they call sequential shifting. This allows us to sort of manually shift through the gears, and when you do that, rather than drive displaying in the center section, you're going to see that sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 telling you which gear you're in. Again, the Smart touch control here gives us the ability to go into all the various options on the menu, the map controls as displayed, and your display controls. Behind that, we can turn off our vehicle dynamic control or anti-skid control and traction control with a single push of a button. Now, you're not going to do that very often with a vehicle like this, but there may be certain situations where traction control can work against you. And envision maybe parked at the base of a big hill, steep hill, freezing rain overnight, and you're trying to climb that hill. What's going to happen is as the wheels start to turn, they're going to lose traction and start to spin. Well, the car is then going to try to, limit power and start applying anti-lock braking to allow the tires to gain traction to get you moving. And sometimes that's not possible if you don't have any momentum and you're starting from a standstill, and you may need to spin the tires. So turning that off would allow the wheels to spin. Then another feature you have is the ability to lock the center differential. And this is important because these are part-time or intelligent all-wheel drive systems with what they call dynamic torque control, but it automatically feeds power to the rear wheels on demand. So when you're on dry roads like today in the summer, you're driving primarily in front-wheel drive. About 90% of your power is going to the front wheels, very little to the rear. But in that sort of unique situation where you want that power to climb up a steep icy hill, locking that center differential is going to lock it into a 50-50 power split, and that's going to get you out of that jam. Now, the important thing to note is you only want to use that on slippery surfaces. You don't want to use it on dry roads, because over time that can do some damage to the drive line. You've got cup holders hidden underneath that little cover. You've got your heating and cooling seats, as mentioned earlier, blue being the cooling modes. You see 3 speeds. Red being your heating modes, also with 3 speeds for driver-passenger. Flip this up, and we've got some nice little storage areas here. There's little covers that come up in coin holders. If I flip this out, again, it's hard to see, but you have extra controls down below, as well as cable management. There's an actual sleeve that pulls out. You can see your USB ports and everything down below, so you can put your iPod or your phone down there and run your cords up there so everything's hidden. And again, keeps it all nice and neat. And then you have a sliding center armrest too, so that you can adjust it depending on how your seat is positioned. You can see all the books and manuals are here, the actual leather folio, 2 keys. Now we have one of the master keys and also what they call a credit card key. This is kind of a neat device, but this can go in your wallet and it acts as a key. It'll open the doors there's a key inside, and you can start that push button stop. I'm ordering a new battery for it because it was dead when we got it, but it should be here shortly. And again, so that all comes with it as well. Carfax history, as mentioned, there was 2 damage records without claims. Let's put this open here. That was back in 2015 and 2019, just police reported incidents, but again, you'll see no follow-up claims, no body shop estimates or anything as well. Quite a bit of service up in Oakville. You can see Lexus of Oakville. Now, one thing you'll find with these Carfax reports is they're not always complete anymore. And unfortunately, a lot of dealers now especially are not sharing their information with Carfax, so you'll often find big gaps in service, and that's because they were at a Lexus dealer that doesn't share their information. We have also a locking glove compartment. You can see right here, there's the lock mechanism that swings open. So tiered storage with shelves. In behind there is also the in-cabin filter access panel. So if you like to do a lot of your own maintenance and save a few dollars, you can do that yourself. You've got auto-dimming rear view mirror, overhead sunglasses storage. We have extending, or I should say the swivel type visor mirrors is what I'm looking for. And then of course illuminated visors, and this is for both sides, driver and passenger. Now I do have to change my battery here. I will be back in one moment to finish up. Okay, we're back. So on the outboard side of this overhead console, you'll see your power sunroof controls. So we have both a tilt and a full sort of retracting or power glass moonroof, as they call it. But it's a deep tinted tempered glass window. There's a little deflector sort of flap at the front that sort of helps reduce buffeting, and then you do have a full sunshade as well. So if you're at all light sensitive, you can close it. Sometimes just leaving a little bit of a gap there, you can still then vent the sunroof and get that flow of ventilation improved, and without having it fully open. Sunglasses holder. We do have like lights here as well, so just these little spotlights overhead, as well as sort of overhead cabin lighting, and this one illuminates both front and the rear ones as well. And there's also rear map lights, it's just like the front lights. And then these 1, 2, 3 buttons, these are what they call home link or universal garage door openers. You can not only use them for garage doors, but with bigger properties, you might have an electric gate at the front entrance. You can set them up with that. Lighting, entry lighting when you're pulling in the driveway, you can hit one and it can activate your house's outside lights. So some neat ways you can set that up. There's also embedded microphones and speakers within here. So when you're talking on the phone, that voice is going to come from the top. It's going to mute or reduce the volume on your audio, so it's not going to interfere with your phone calls, etc. But that's what's sort of hidden in behind there. So as mentioned earlier, those dual stage airbags, and that's for both the driver and passenger side. We do have what they call a classification sensor on the passenger airbag, and this turns off automatically if there's no weight in the seat, or if it's under about 90 pounds. So it's all designed to keep it safe if you have a child sitting in the front seat. We also have not only height adjustable, but what they call pre-tensioning seat belts. And again, the pre-tensioning belts are both on the front and rear belts, and these are all designed for better accident protection, and they're linked to the airbag sensor. So when the more serious collision airbags are about to deploy, the seat belts will also pre-tension, and basically they tighten up instantly, taking all the slack out of the belt, so that they're going to do a better job of holding passengers in position. And then the airbags drop down. You've got curtain airbags for both front and rear windows, side impact airbags that are within the seat bolsters for both front and rear. The rear seat has them as well. These are features you don't often see in a lot of competition, having all those little extras. I didn't point this out. This is kind of neat. A second little cup holder. A lot of people like a left-handed cup holder for their morning coffee or drink. Of course, that's our sort of power release or opening for the tailgate. This swings open and you can see your gas cap door. No rust, no nothing. Very, very clean. Swing this open, you'll see child-proof door locks in the rear. That sort of deactivates the inside handle. The seat back pockets swing open with lots of space. Airflow control. There's also under seat vents under both front seats. Of course, more floor mats. Now the seats themselves have individual adjustments, so these can slide fore and aft independently. It's a 60-40 split seat. Flip down this and we have a nice little storage bin, more cup holders, And then we do have the sort of the cup holders within the side door pockets as well. Seats themselves recline and or fold flat, and that's just accommodated with this little release lever that flips down and gives you a nice flat load area with both sides. So that's the smaller 40% side, and you got the larger 60 over here. Now another neat feature is these little release levers on the side. These allow you to fold down the seats. There's one on each corner from the back. So if you're coming into the vehicle from the back, open the tailgate with your remote, hands are full, well, you can just sort of reach in and do that and extend it out. You don't have to swing around and open the doors. That's the location of that rear subwoofer for the audio system. It's got that Lexus carpeted mat. Now it's reversible, so rubber back, so you flip it over and it acts like a cargo tray. Underneath here, nicely tucked away, but your spare tire and jack and tools are all under there. A little storage spot for items less used, hidden away. We do have little sort of chromed tie-down hooks, so secure rear loads. We have a light in the back here as well. And there's also on the side here another light, and then you've also got a 12-volt power plug. So that's handy because you can get little travel coolers that plug in. So if you're off on a holiday and want to have some food chilled and kept cold, inside this little case is a first aid kit that came standard with these as well. So closing the tailgate, this can be operated from here. Nice and clean. So finish up under hood, 3.5 liter V6, normally aspirated, which i.e. no turbocharger, so breathes normally. And hood release is, doing it with my wrong hand here, should be able to get it here. Right at it. It's right off of here. Anyway, so easy to release. Of course, every car is different. So this is what they call a 2G RFE engine, V6, 3.5 liter. It's double overhead cam on each bank, so 4 overhead cams with a 6-cylinder V style. So 4 valves per cylinder, variable valve timing. It's got a multi-port fuel injection. So this is pre-direct injection. If you've been looking at a lot of the newer cars, 2 things you're going to see. DI, or direct injection, becoming more commonplace, as well as turbocharging or supercharging to give smaller engines more power. So this sort of eschews that newer tech, which frankly makes them extremely reliable. And you're not losing a whole lot of power. This V6 develops 275 horsepower, 257 pound-feet of torque. So again, plenty of power for this car. Everything is sort of covered up with these sort of shrouds and covers, but you'll see, battery down there. It's got a replaced interstate battery. You got coolant reservoirs accessed in here, washer fluid, brake fluid. Everything's here just under these covers. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer, it's not hard to get at. Anyway, that pretty much wraps it up, folks. I'm Steve with CarSmart. Thank you for watching.